from section 105 to 117 of the Transfer Property Act, which deals with the lease of immovable property. Here lease is the most important question which has been repeatedly asked in your exams. Please note down the important questions under section 105 to 117. Please take it down. Define lease. Define lease. State in brief the rights and liabilities of lessee. Define lease. State the rights and liabilities of the lessee. Take down next question. What are the legal presumptions? What are the legal presumptions as to the duration of lease? As to the duration of lease. Next question. What is lease? Question mark. Continuation. How lease may be determined? How lease may be determined? Here, that is from section 105 to 117 deals with the lease. Section 105 which deals with the definition of lease. Section 106 it deals with the duration. It is a time period, duration of certain lease. Section 107, how to make the lease. Section 108, which deals with the rights and liabilities of the lessor and lessee. And section 111, which deals with the determination of lease. These are the important sections which you have to study for your sake of exam under lease. Let me go one by one here. First of all, section 105 of the Transfer Property Act, which deals with the definition of lease. Here, lease means it is only a transferring of a right in the property to the lessee from the lessor is called as lease. What is there here? What is the main important thing here under lease? It's only a transferring of a right which the lessor is having. That right will be transferred to the lessee. It's only a partial interest which will be transferred and not the absolute interest. And here, the transferring of a right, that is to enjoy the property for a certain period, it will be transferred to the lessee. And it is for a certain period or certain time which the lessee can exercise. And it is not a transfer of ownership. Here he is not selling his property. Here it is just transferring the right to enjoy the property. So it's not a transfer of ownership here. And transfer of partial interest. Here it's not a sale. If it is a sale, there is a transfer of absolute interest to the person. But here under lease, it's only a partial transfer. The remaining interest will be with the lessor itself. These are the main things which you have to know under the lease. Okay. As it has been defined under section 105, it tells that a lease of immovable property is a transfer of a right to enjoy such property made for a certain time, express or implied, or in perpetuity, means it's for a permanent period, or in perpetuity in consideration of a price paid or promised or of money, a share, a crops or service or any other thing of value, to be rendered periodically on a specified occasion to the transferor by the transferee is called as a definition of the lease. Here, by this definition under section 105, it is clear that lease is a transfer of right of enjoyment of an immovable property and not a transfer of ownership. Here, only transferring of a partial interest. It is not a transferring of the absolute interest. It's called a lease. This is the definition. And let us go to what are the essentials of lease. Here, there are totally 5 essentials of lease. Parties, property, period, consideration, partial transfer. Here the parties, as you all know, parties means here there are 2 parties for a transfer of the immobile property. In any transfer, there must be 2 parties. The person who transfers and the person who receives the property. Here, parties means that is under section 105, under the lease, there are 2 parties. That is one is the transferor and the transferee. They are also called as lessor and lessee. Here in lease, 2 parties are necessary. That is lessor and lessee. That is, lessor is the person who transfers the property, who transfers the right of enjoyment of his property, must be a person to competent to contract. Is called as a lessor, and must also have not only a competent to contract, he must also have the right over the property, and then he can transfer the possession of the property to the another person. Here, lessor must not only be competent, he must have the right over the property, as well as lessor, there is a transferor, must have attained the age of majority and must possess the sound mind. Minor cannot grant lease. Lease which is executed by the minor is void. Lessee too must be a competent person to contract, and the lessee must also be of age of majority, and lessee must also be of sound mind, and he must be competent to contract. Yeah, in the sense what it says under section on the essential of the lease here, the parties, as a transfer and transfer, both must be competent to contract, as well as sound mind, age of majority have to be completed. And the second essential which deals with the property. Here, property in the sense, property means here it's only a immovable property. There must be immovable property as defined under section 3 of the Transfer of Property Act. In a lease, the right of enjoyment is the subject matter of the transfer. That is, the property must be in existence. It is the subject matter of the transfer. And the third essential is the period. Here, period means that is the right of enjoyment must be given by the lessor to the lessee for a certain period. That is, the term may be any period of time, longer or shorter, or even for a perpetuity, but it must be specified in the lease deed, the particular period for which the lease has been made. That is the essential thing. That is, the period is also one of the essentials of the lease. The fourth essential is the consideration. You all know what is consideration. Consideration means there must be something in return for the transferring of the right to the another person. When one person transfers his right to another person, the consideration must be paid by the transferee to the transferor. Here, consideration means money or valuables or services to be delivered periodically. That is, in the modern day, the rent in the form of money is known to all. We all know when the lessor leases his property to the lessee pays the amount, that is the money, as a consideration for the transferring of property. That is the rent in the form of money which is known to everybody. Here, let me give you one example here. A is the owner of the house. He entered into lease transaction with B for 5 years at a monthly rent of ₹5,000 to be paid on first day of every month. In the olden days, there was a consideration of services and sharing of crops This was a consideration which has been paid by the lessee to the lessor in the olden days. And let me give you one more example here. For the consideration, A is the owner of a small house. He leased that house to B. Leased to B, and B here, B is a student of the village. B is a student from the village with the condition that B need not pay any rent, but he shall serve the shop. Here there is no need of paying rent by the B to the A, but the A puts the condition by leasing the property to B. The condition is here, B need not pay any rent, but he shall serve the shop of A after the college timings. After these college timings, B has to serve the shop of the A. So, here B is providing this. B is not giving the consideration amount to the A here in this example. B is providing the services to A every day. This is also a consideration for the transferring of the right in the enjoyment of the property. Okay. Next essential is partial transfer. Here, partial transfer means it is not a transferring of a right. The absolute right has not been transferred to the transferee. It's only a partial interest has been transferred. Your partial transfer means it is called demise. D-E-M-I-S-E, demise. It is the right to use and enjoy the property for only a certain period is called as a partial transfer. Here there is no absolute transfer. Here there is no right of ownership has been transferred to the lessee. Here only a partial transfer is for only for a certain period that property has been transferred. Only the person, that is the lessee, is having the right only to use the property for certain period and right to enjoy the property only for a certain period, for the certain time. That is called as a partial transfer. These are all the essentials of the lease. Next, let me go to section 107. Section 106, as I told you, it deals with the duration of the certain lease. It will be mentioned in the lease deed itself, whatever the period, whatever the duration. Next is the section 107, how to make the lease. Here, a lease of immovable property from year to year or for any term exceeding 1 year or reserving a yearly rent can be made only by a registered instrument. Can be made only through a registered instrument. And all other leases of immovable property may be made either by a registered instrument or by oral agreement accompanied by the delivery of the possession. The lease of immovable property for less than 1 year need not be in writing and need not be registered. This is what dealt under section 107. From year to year lease or for any term exceeding 1 year, that lease that must be made only through a registered instrument. But the lease of immovable property for less than 1 year need not be in writing. That's what section 107 says. And let us see what is in Rajendra Pratap Singh versus Rameshwar Prasad case, what it has been held in this case. Here, in this case, Supreme Court held that a lease for a term exceeding 1 year must be through a registered instrument. Whenever the lease has been made for which exceeds 1 year, it must be made through a registered instrument. It has been held under Rajendra Pratap Singh versus Rameshwar Prasad case. Okay. Section 108 of the Transfer of Property Act, which deals with the rights and liabilities of lessor and lessee. That is, here in the presence of a contract as well as in the absence of a contract, both we have to know under section 108. When there is a contract, what is the rights and liabilities? When there is an absence of a contract, what are the rights and liabilities? Here, this section, that is section 108, it only applies only in the absence of a contract to the contrary. It applies only in the absence of the contrary. Here, that is, first of all, in the presence of a contract, means when there is a contract between the parties, what happens? Here, lessor and lessee have the freedom to enter into a separate contract specifying their own rights, liabilities, disabilities and duties. If the lessor and lessee they enter into such contract, then such rights and liabilities shall be enforceable. If they enter into a separate contract, if there is any contract between them. But in the absence of a contract, let us know in the absence of a contract what happens. Here, lessor and lessee does not specify any separate terms and conditions. Then the rights and liabilities under section 108 shall be enforceable. If the parties, if the transferor or the transferee, if they enter into separate contract and they are having their own rights and liabilities or disabilities, duties, that shall be, then such rights and liabilities shall be enforceable. But if there is no contract entered into by the parties, that is a lessor and lessee, at that time, that is under section 108, it will be enforceable. Then such rights and liabilities under section 108 shall be enforceable in the absence of any contract by the parties. That's what the section 108 which deals with it. Here, rights and liabilities of the lessor. This section applies only in the absence of a contract to the contract. This section 108 applies where there is no contract has been made between the lessor and lessee. At the time, section 108 applies. That is, whatever it has been mentioned, the rights and duties of the lessor and lessee. Let us see here, what are the rights of the lessor? Here under section 108, it does not provide for any specific rights of the lessor. Now let us go to the duties of the lessor. Here there are three kinds of duties according to section 108 of the Transfer of Property Act. The first duty of the lessor, that is a transferor, is the duty to disclose material defect. Here, duty to disclose material defect. Here there are two kinds of defects. One is the latent defect and the patent defect. As I told you earlier I explained you earlier in the previous class. Latent defect means which is not apparent, which is not visible. That is called latent defect. But the transferor knows the defect and the transferee does not know the defect which is in the property. That is latent defect. But the patent defect is which can be visible by the party. That is called patent defect. Here, that is, a latent defect has to be disclosed to the transferee because it cannot be, which is not apparent by the, which is not visible by the transferee. Here, it is one of the duty of the lessor to disclose the latent defect of the property to the lessee. Defect which is in the property is latent if it is not apparently visible by the lessee. But the lessor is having the knowledge of the defect. Here Here there is no duty to disclose any patent, that is apparent defect or defect of such nature which is not affect lessee's right of enjoyment. Here that is a duty of the lessor only to disclose a latent which is not visible by the lessee. Here let me give you an example for this duty to disclose latent defect. A, I am giving you an example for the duty of the lessor to disclose a defect in the property. There is a latent defect. A is the owner of the house. A is the owner of the house. The house is 50 years old. The ceiling was weak. This defect, which is known to the owner only, it cannot be discovered by others. A has covered the defect by a false ceiling. Here, A entered into a lease transaction with B for 5 years at a monthly rent of rupees 5,000 to be paid by the lessee on first day of every month. Here, B took the possession from the A. When the lease was in the second year, suddenly the ceiling with rusted iron being collapsed and which injured the B, that is a lessee. We come to know in this illustration that A, that is a lessor, is having the duty to disclose the hidden defects, problems in the property to the lessee. This is the duty of the lessor to disclose the defects in the property. But here in this illustration, A, he failed to disclose the defects in the property. Hence, the lessor is liable for the pain and sufferings of the lessee. In this illustration, that is, the lessor is liable for the sufferings of the lessee in this illustration, because the lessor failed to disclose the latent defect which is not visible, which cannot be known by the lessee. This is one of the duty of the lessor to disclose. Next, second duty of the lessor is it is the duty of the lessor to give the possession to the lessee. As we all know, lease is a transfer of right in the property. Transfer of right to enjoy or use the property to the lessee. Without possession, enjoyment of property is not possible. Therefore, it is the duty of the lessor to transfer the property to the lessee. To sincerely deliver the portion of the property to the lessee. Here the property must be delivered on the day specified in the lease deed. Whatever the period, whatever the date which has been mentioned in the lease deed, that is the property must be delivered on that day which has been specified in the lease deed. And the third duty of the lessor is covenant for peaceful enjoyment. It is the duty of the lessor not to disturb the lessee while the lessee is enjoying the property for a certain period, not to interrupt the possession of the lessee. When the lessee has taken over the possession of the property and is enjoying the property peacefully by regularly paying the rent, then the lessor's duty not to disturb the possession of the lessee. Lessor should not visit the premises and not to interfere in the use and enjoyment of the property. Here, lessor must allow the lessee to enjoy the property peacefully without disturbing, without interrupting with the enjoyment of the property of the lessee. This is one of the duty of the lessor. It is a covenant for peaceful enjoyment. When he has transferred his right, it is a right to enjoy, right to use the property to the lessee. That is, the lessee has to enjoy the property peacefully without any disturbance from the lessor. These are all the duties of the lessor. That is the duty to disclose a latent defect which is known to the lessor and which is not known to the lessee. And duty to give the possession. When he has leased his property, it is his duty to give the possession to the lessee to enjoy the property, use the property for a certain period. And the third, as I told you, it is a covenant for peaceful enjoyment. That is, when he has delivered the possession, that is, he should not disturb by interfering with the possession of the lessee. Now I am going to explain the rights and liabilities of the lessee. Rights and liabilities of the lessee. Here, that is section 108. As I told you, the section 108 which is with the rights and liabilities of the lessor and lessee. I explained you that is rights and liabilities of the lessor. Now I am going to explain rights and liabilities of the lessee. First of all, let us see rights of the lessee. Here the first right of the transferee, that is a lessee, is that right to accretions is one of the right of the lessee. Here accretion means it is an addition which is made to the property either by human being or either by the operation of natural forces. It is called as accretion. Accretion means it is an addition which is made to the property. It's called accretion. Here, during the period of lease, an accession may take place. It may be a natural accession or an acquired accession. Here, lessee is having the right to use and enjoy the accessed land up to the last day of the lease mentioned in the lease deed. Here, the lessee might spend the money in the course of accession. Such money which has been spent by the lessee shall be reimbursed by the lessor after the expiry of the lease period. This is one of the right to accretion, is one of the right of the lessee. The next right is right to avoid the lease on destruction of the property. That is, if during the lease the property is destroyed by fire or by flood or violation of or violence of army, and the property became unfit to the purpose of lease, then lease shall be void at the instance of the lessee. Here, the lessee has a right to get that lease terminated before expiry of the term. When there is a destruction of the property, it is one of the right to avoid the lease before termination. It is before expiry of the term of the lease period. Third right is right to deduct the cost of repairs. If the lessor neglects to repair the property within a reasonable time, after notice by the lessee also, and the lessee, at that time the lessee, when he has given the notice to the lessor to make a repair of the property, the lessor has not made. Due to the negligence of the lessor, that is of to notice also, here the lessee is having the right to make the repairs, and the lessee can deduct the expenses from the rent which is to be paid to the lessor. Next right is right to deduct the outgoings. Here it is the duty of the lessor to pay the outgoings of the public charges, to pay the governmental taxes of the property from time to time. It is the duty of the lessor. But if the lessor fails to pay the taxes or anything, then the lessee can make the payment and deduct the amount from the rent. Here also the lessee is having the right to deduct the amount from the rent when he has paid the outgoings. Next right is right to remove the fixtures. Here the meaning of fixtures is, fixture means all the things fixed or attached to the hearth by him in the tenanted premises, and also includes trees, machinery or building which has been attached to the property. That is the meaning of the fixtures, means attached, the things which are fixed or attached to the hearth by the lessee. Here lessee is having the right, here lessee is entitled to remove any trees or fixtures planted by him on that property. It is one of the right of the lessee to remove the fixtures which has been attached to the property by the lessee. Next right is right to remove the crops. Here, after termination of the lease, lessee is entitled to remove the crops which is sown by him during the subsistence of the lease. During the lease period, if he has grown any crops, he can remove that. His lessee is entitled to remove the crops which is sown by him during the lease period. Next right is right to assign the interest. Here, lessee himself is having the limited interest over the property, only to use the property and only to enjoy the property. And here the lessee has not been given the ownership rights. It's only a transferring of a right in the property to use and enjoy. It's only a partial transfer which has been made to the lessee. And here the right which the lessee is having, it is right to assign that interest, assign his interest. Here the lessee may transfer his right of enjoyment in the property provided there is no prohibition imposed to him by the lessor. Here the lessee is having the right to transfer his right of enjoyment to the another person, but if there is no prohibition from the lessor or mortgage, that is, if there is no prohibition imposed by the lessor or mortgage or lease the property if it is unrestricted. These are all the rights of the lessee. Next we shall go to the duties of the lessee. Which are all the duties? Here, the first duty of the lessee is to disclose the facts. Here, lessee is bound to disclose to the lessor any fact which is known to him and which increases the value of the property. This fact to be disclosed to the lessor by the lessee. This is one of the duty of the lessee. That is, if the lessee finds that in the tenanted land there is a gold mine, the lessee must inform this fact to the lessor. But breach of duty by the lessee does not amount to fraud, and lessor cannot terminate the lease Upon such failure, the lessor may sue the lessee for only for the damages. Here, when it does not disclose this fact, when the lessee does not disclose this fact to the lessor, it does not amount to fraud. But the lessor is having the right to file a suit against the lessee for claiming the damages. That's one of the duty of the lessee, to disclose the facts which is known to him, which increases the value of the property. Second duty of the lessee is duty to pay the rent. Here, duty to pay rent, it is one of the duty of the lessee. A duty to pay rent is a necessary incident of every lease, and the amount to be paid as such will be stated in the lease deed only. Here, tenant's liability to pay the rent begins from the date on which it takes the possession, and not from the date on which it has been mentioned in which the landlord signs the deed. Here, paying of the rent begins from when the possession has been given to the lessee, and not from the date on which the landlord signs the deed. Next duty of the lessee, duty to maintain the property. Here, when the lessee has given the possession of the property, it is his duty to maintain the property in the same condition in which he received it, and to restore it to the lessor on the termination of the lease. This is one of the duty of the lessee, to maintain the property in a proper condition. Next duty of the lessee, duty to give information to the lessor of any proceedings of litigation. Here, it is the duty of the lessee to inform the lessor about any proceedings or any litigation, so that the lessor may take any proper action, and the lessor may protect his interest. This is one of the duty which has to be informed to the lessor regarding any litigation or regarding any proceedings which is known to the lessee. It has to be informed to the lessor. Next duty is duty to use the property reasonably. Here, it is the duty of the lessee to use and enjoy the tenanted property as a person of ordinary prudence would use his property. Yeah, it is the duty of the lessee to use the property reasonably, as an ordinary prudence, take care of his property. Next is duty not to erect any permanent structure. Here, lessee is having the limited interest only to use and only to enjoy the property, so that he cannot construct any buildings on that property. He cannot erect any permanent structures on the leased property without the permission of the lessor. But in agricultural leases, if it is for agricultural purposes, lessee can erect structures without taking the consent of the landlord or the lessor. But in other cases, it is the duty of the lessee to take the permission of the lessor and to construct any buildings. Otherwise, he is not having any right to construct any structures on the property, on the leased property, without the consent of the lessor. The next duty is duty to deliver the property to the lessor on determination of lease. Here, it's only the right which the lessee is having only for the certain period, which has been mentioned in the lease deed. It is over a certain period, it is for certain duration. After that, lessee has to give back the property to the lessor. It is the duty of the lessee. But your duty to deliver the property to the lessor on the determination of the lease. Determination of the lease means here on the termination of the lease. When the lease comes to an end, it is a duty of the lessee to give back the property to the lessor. Upon the expiry of the lease or determination of the lease, the lessee must retransfer the possession of the property to the lessor. Section 111, which is with the determination of lease. This section is most important for sake of exam. Please note down. It's the termination of lease or determination of lease. Here, determination of lease. The meaning of determination is termination. This comes to an end. The lease period which comes to an end. That is a determination means putting an end to the transaction. Is called as a determination of lease. Here, after determination of lease, after termination of lease, that is the legal relation which is between the lessor and lessee comes to an end. Section 111 deals with various situations in which the lease will be terminated. Under section 111, a lease may be determined or terminated in the following situations. Under these situations, under the 8 situations under section 111, that is the lease can be terminated, will come to an end. Let us see under which situations there is a lease will come to an end between the lessor and the lessee. The first situation is by lapse of time. By lapse of time means lease is a transfer of demise. It is only for a certain period. It is the lessee is having the right to use the property and enjoy the property only for a certain period or certain duration. After expiry of that period, which is specified in the lease, it is the duty of the lessee to hand over the possession of the property to the lessor. Or after the expiry of the period, the lease will be terminated automatically. This is called by lapse of time. Lease will be terminated automatically after the expiry of the lease period. Let me give you an illustration for the lapse of time. A is the absolute owner of the house property. He entered into a lease of the property with B, that is on 1st January 2001. A entered into a lease of the property for a period of for a period of 5 years, that is on 1st January 2001 at a monthly rent of rupees 5,000. For 5 years period and on a monthly rental basis, that is for rupees 5,000, he entered into a transaction with the B on 1st January 2001. Here, to be paid by the B on the first day of every month. Here, the time of 5 years passed off. The 1st January 2006 was the last day of the lease. On this day, the lease transaction between A and B comes to an end. By lapse of time, the lease transaction comes to an end between the A and B because the time has been expired. This is one of the situation where the lease will be determined or lease will be terminated. The next situation is by happening of specified event. The happening of specified event means it is a contingent event which will happen, which must happen. That is the lease the transaction between the lessor and the lessee, which depends upon the particular event which must happen. On this situation, on this circumstances where the lease will be terminated by happening of the particular event. For example, death of the person or any war is the happening of the contingent event. Let me give you the illustration for this. The Second World War took place from 1939 to 1945. During the war, Germany started bombing the London. Germany started bombing London. Mr. X is a native. Mr. X, a native, left for safety and reached a village. He took a house on lease. Here the house owner gave the lease with the condition. The house owner, that is the lessor, he leases the property to the Mr. X by putting the condition here. Let us see what is the condition is put by the lessor here. You can remain my tenant as long as the war continues. This is the condition which is put by the lessor to the Mr. X, to the lessee, that is, you can remain as my tenant as long as the war continues. That means, according to this condition, it means when war stops and peace returns to the London, then Mr. X has to go out of the village. Then the lease will come to an end. This is the one of the circumstances, that is the happening of the particular event. That is, the lease can be terminated. This is one of the conditions which can be put by the lessor to the lessee. Next situation, that is by termination of the lessor's interest. By termination of the lessor's interest. Here, when the lessor or transferor loses the right on the property, the lease created by him will come to an end. Let me give you an example here. Here, the lessor means he is the owner of the property, he is having the right to transfer his right to the another person. But when he himself loses his right, means when he transfers his right, when he transfers his ownership to the another person, at that time the lessor loses his right over the property. At that time also the lease can be terminated, will comes to an end. Let me give an illustration, by that you can understand what is by termination of the lessor's interest. A mortgaged the property to B for 20 years. A mortgaged the property to B for 20 years for rupees 20 lakhs. Here, B created the lease on the property for 25 years to C. A has mortgaged the property to the B for 20 years, and then B, it is the mortgagee, B created the lease on the property for 25 years to C. When the mortgage period was completed, that is 20 years was completed, the mortgager redeemed the property. That is when the mortgager, he pays the loan amount to the B. At the time, he takes back the property from the B. That is, A takes back the property from the B. As a result, the mortgagee loses the property, loses the right on the property. Hence, the lease which is created by the mortgagee, that is by B to C, hence the lease which is created by the mortgagee to C will also come to an end. That's what the situation is by termination of the lessor's interest. Also the lease will be comes to an end. The next situation is by merger. Here we have to know what is the meaning of merger before knowing which is the situation where the lease can be terminated. By merger. Here merger means meeting of one interest with the another interest is called merger. When a limited interest becomes absolute interest, there is merger, because smaller interest merges with the larger interest. For the merger, I'll give you illustration. A leased the house to B. A leased his house to B for 10 years. B was paying the rent to A regularly. He was paying the rent. One day, A approached B and expressed his desire or intention to sell the property to B. And B readily agreed to that. And B is ready to purchase the property of the A. Here B is a lessee. He has leased this property to B for the period of 10 years. During the lease period, he is having the intention to sell, which he informs to the B, to the lessee. At that time, lessee is ready to buy the property, to purchase the property by means of a sale deed. So, in this illustration, B, who is a lessee, he becomes the owner of the property. Thus, in this illustration, the lease comes to an end because of the merger. Because of the merger, the lease comes to an end here. That is, here the limited interest becomes the absolute interest. There is merger in this case, in this illustration, because smaller interest merges with the larger interest. Means here is only the lessee, but when he purchases a property which has been leased later, he becomes the absolute owner of the property. This is merger. By the merger also, that is the lease will be terminated. Next situation where the lease can be terminated or which can comes to an end is by express surrender. By express surrender means if there is a clause or if there is a condition in the lease deed about the surrendering of the lease by the lessee, then the lessee can surrender the remaining lease period. Means when the property has been leased for a certain period to the lessee, but under that in that deed, lessee mention there is a condition that there is a condition that about the surrendering of the lease by the lessee. Then the lessee can surrender the remaining of the lease period. Here you can understand by the illustration. Let me give you an illustration for this. By express surrender by the lessee, the lease get terminated. Here A is the owner of the property. A is the owner of the house. A is the owner of the house. B is the government servant. Here A and B, they entered into the lease deed for 5 years. There was a clause or there was a condition in this lease deed that I am a government servant. I wish to continue in the lease. But if I am transferred to any other place within the lease period, within 5 years, I have to go out of the transaction. I must be relieved immediately by A. This was a condition. This was a clause in the lease deed. When the this lease was for 5 years. But when the lease was in the second year, B was transferred to another place or another town. Then B has given up the remaining lease period to A. This is called express surrender that is express surrender. By express surrender, that is, the lease get terminated. Next is by implied surrender. Next situation where the lease gets terminated is by implied surrender. Implied surrender occurs by the creation of a new relationship. That is, implied surrender occurs by the creation of a new relationship. Let me give an illustration for this. That is, by the implied surrender, the lease will be terminated. A leased the house to B for 5 years at a monthly rent. When the lease was in the second year, A and B entered into a new lease deed for 50 years. There was a lease transaction between A and B for 5 years. When the lease was in the second year, at that time, A and B entered into a new lease deed for other 50 years at an annual rent of rupees 1 lakh. The deed was registered. The second deed which has been made between A and B, it has been registered. Due to the creation of a new lease deed, the old lease transaction comes to an end by implied surrender. By the conduct, by the act of these two parties, that is the whole lease transaction comes to an end. But this also, that lease gets terminated. That is, due to the creation of a new lease, whole lease transaction comes to an end. Next situation where the lease gets terminated is by forfeiture. By forfeiture, that is, the lease gets terminated. By forfeiture means it is the right of the lessor to put an end to the lease. Here, by forfeiture is also one of the situations where the lease gets terminated. By forfeiture means it is the right of the lessor to get the lease terminated, to put an end in the following 3 situations or 3 circumstances. Let us see under which 3 circumstances the lessor can put an end to the lease transaction. The first is when the lessee breaks an express condition. Lessee has put in certain condition. There is a certain condition between A and B. That is, at the time the lessee breaks that condition. Here the lessor is having the right to put the end to the lease. And second circumstance is when the lessee claims title in himself or sets up a title in a third person. And the next circumstances is when lessee is declared as insolvent. Under these 3 circumstances, lessor is having the right to put an end to the lease. The first situation is when the lessee breaks an express condition and the lessee claims the title in himself or sets a title in a third person, or lessee is declared as an insolvent. Under these 3 circumstances, lessor is having the right to terminate the lessee under forfeiture. Lessor is having the right to put an end to the lease under forfeiture. Next circumstance under which the lease can be terminated is by expiry of notice to quit. By expiry of notice to quit. Here, the lease can be terminated by giving the notice to quit the property to the lessee. It is on the expiration of a notice to determine the lease, to terminate the lease, or to quit, or of intention to quit the property leased, duly given by one party to the other party. That is, the lease gets terminated by expiry of the notice to quit. Also, these are the circumstances, these are the situations where the lease can be terminated under section 111. That is the putting an end to the transaction. Right under section 111.